Today I'm going to teach you how to write the common exception word the. It's the very first common exception word that comes in the Year 1 list, and we're going to learn it in a multisensory way. Now, for those of you that maybe haven't seen my other videos, multisensory is just a way of learning something using different senses, and if you learn things in that way, you've got more chance of making the information stick. So, without any delay, let's get started. In this video, we're learning to write the word the in print writing. All that means is that it's not joined up. If your child does joined up writing, then if you head over to my cursive playlist, you will find the word the in cursive. Now, to write the word the, we are using the same routine that I use when we write the different letters. So first of all, what we're going to do is trace it. The next thing we do is copy it. Then we're going to write it from memory, so cover it up. Finally, close your eyes and have a go at writing it. This is a really fun bit. I love doing this. Not too bad. It looks like it's slightly going downhill, but that is fine. We're not worried about that. The other thing that I forgot to say is that you might notice that on this video, I have my page straight. Now, you'll probably notice that when your child writes, they need the paper put in at an angle, and that is fine. I normally write at an angle. I have my page twisted slightly, just so that it's comfortable to write on. But for this one, I'm just keeping it straight as I can, just to make it as easy as I can for you to be able to see it. Now, as I've said before, don't rush through this. They may not be able to do this all in one go. I've just worked through this pattern once. They might need to work through it 10 or 15 times. Work at their pace, because we want our children to be confident with their reading and with their writing skills. So don't rush them. When they're starting to feel confident with that, we're then going to have a go at writing the word the on a line. So the T and the H go into the upper zone, which mean they reach right up to the top of the line. So we've got T, H, and then the E is within the middle zone. Why am I saying the letter names rather than the sounds? Well, letters can have multiple sounds. So if you think of the word was, it has that ah in the middle of it, but actually in the word was, ah makes an o sound. So when we're learning to spell words, especially, if your child isn't as confident with spelling and they're struggling a bit, get them to say the letter names as they write the words, or should I say as they write the letters, because letters only have one name, but they can have lots of different sounds, so it just makes it a bit less confusing. So let's have another go. We're just going to write it without saying anything this time. So this is in the upper zone, and so is this one a middle zone. Now this time we're going to have a go at saying the letter names. So T, H, E, the. And it's a really good idea when they've said the letter sequence and they've written the word, get them to say the word. It's just another way of locking it into their brains. So T, H, E, the. T, H, E, the. Get them to practice that as much as they need to. And what I'm going to do now is go on to the next step. But just remember, get them to a point where they're feeling confident It's always important to push children just a little bit out of their comfort zone, but we don't want them to feel totally overwhelmed, because if they do, they're just going to switch off from learning. So the other thing I'll mention as well, if they are struggling with this, they don't just have to write the word the with a pen and paper. They can trace it in the sand, they can trace it on the palm of your hand or on your back. There's loads and loads of different things they could do. You could fill up a cup or a bowl with some water and get them a paintbrush and get them to go outside and paint it on the pavement or the side of the house or whatever, just in water when the weather's a bit drier, should I say, because otherwise they're not going to be able to see it. But yeah, just be as creative as you can. They could make the word out of Play-Doh or something. You know, there's so many different ideas. But once they feel a bit more secure with it, that is the point where we'll move on to using it in a sentence. So the sentence that we're going to write is sit on the mat. And I'm just going to move this up so that you can see it clearly. Sometimes children find it hard to remember what they're writing, so get them to repeat the sentence 3 times. And do it this way, and I'll explain it why in a minute. Sit on the mat. Sit on the mat. Sit on the mat. Doing this makes it really clear where the finger spaces are. Sit, finger space on, finger space the, finger space mat, full stop. It's really good visual representation. So here we go. Let's write it down. Sit. Finger space on. Finger space the. Our word of the week. T-H-E. Finger space mat. Don't forget that full stop. If you're looking and thinking, oh, do you know what, that's just a little step too far for my child, just adapt it. And I say that about all the lessons that I show you on here. These are just to provide you with some inspiration for things you can do to help your child at home. But if you need to tweak anything, if you want to change it, please do. So if this is a bit much for them, what you could do is you could actually write the sentence and just get them to write the word the. Or you could write it and get them to trace it, but write the word the on their own. There's loads of different things you can do. Just do whatever you think will work best. So the next step, we're not just doing writing today and spelling. The next step is to use what we've done to help with reading. So let me just put my pen down. I'm going to try and show you this on screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. I'm going to get my scissors. I'm going to cut out this sentence. So grown-ups, I recommend you do the cutting. Here we go. Let's cut it out. You don't have to cut out the sentence that you've written. You can write it again on a piece of paper or card or whatever. But this is just easier for me to show you. So I've got this sentence. Let me just cut that end bit off because we don't need that. So we've got our sentence, sit on the mat. So the first thing you might want your child to do is practice pointing and reading it. So sit on the mat. And we've got our full stop at the end. Then you're going to hold it so that they can see it. Now this is a bit tricky to show you on camera, but I'm going to do the best I can. So sit. So the first word, sit, so they're going to read that. On. So cut it once they've read it. Okay, what's the next one? The. Brilliant, our word of the week. And last one, mat. Yes, let's cut that off. And then what we've got here, oh, it's our full stop. Now, the falling all over the place. But if you just have them so that your child can actually read them, we don't want any of them upside down. It just makes things a bit trickier, especially for those pupils who confuse the B's and the D's and the P's and the Q's. Now at this point what you can say is, oh, can you find that word the and get them to point to it? Can you find the word sit and get them to point to it? You can do that. Or the next step is get them to put the sentence back together. But the way we get this to reinforce reading skills, most children will rush in and be like, yeah, it's a jigsaw, I can do this, and just shove it together. You want them to read the words as they put the sentence back together. So just prompt them and say, right, what's our first word? Okay, our first word, sit. Can you find it? Fantastic. Find our next one, on. Next one, the. Last one, mat. What's this little lonely thing doing down here? Oh yes, we know, full stop on the end. Fantastic. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to check it. So you make sure that you haven't put any of those words in the wrong places. Okay, read it for me. Sit on the mat, full stop. Fantastic. Give them a high five or loads of praise. They've done a great job. So that is just a very quick walkthrough of what you can do when you are trying to teach your child how to learn to spell or read new words. I like adding the reading element to it because it combines the spelling, the writing in the sentence, and the reading. So it's a great way to work on all of those key skills. And as you can probably tell by now, I do feel that reading and writing are key skills that everybody should be able to do. You know, we need to remove this fear around reading and writing. Let's make it as fun as we can. Let's make it as hands-on and as interactive as we can. Make it a bit multisensory. Give massive amounts of praise for those small successes. Boost the confidence and they will fly. If you've enjoyed this video, please will you like and subscribe to my channel. My plan is to do a different common exception word every week. So make sure you're subscribed, and what will happen then is you should get a notification when the next video is out. Okay, have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon.